listen to me as I slow it down. Can't tell yours if you want it. Enjoy the ride, 'cause those ups and those downs is what makes it worth it.
Hi everyone, Nicole Kriegel here from Team GoldenGrit. Now, I am a huge fan when it comes to macro tracking. Now, there is a lot of different ways to diet. The reason why I love macro tracking is for a couple reasons. One, it gives you the flexibility, because if you are dieting, or I mean not even necessarily dieting, this could be good for a growth phase, a maintaining phase. You're wanting to just clean up your diet and live a healthier life. But it's very good because it gives you that flexibility. And anytime you are trying to just live a normal, healthy life, having that variety of foods and being able to have that flexibility is huge, because then it doesn't make you feel like you're dieting the whole entire time. And another huge part of it is that it actually gives you the education behind nutrition, because you could follow the best meal plan in the world and get amazing results and get your dream body, but it doesn't really teach you anything. And then as soon as you go off of that meal plan and try to go back to a normal, healthy life, you don't have those nutritional skills to know what to eat and how to eat. So today I am going to be going over everything that you need to know about macro tracking. We are going to learn how to create balanced meals, how to hit your goals 100% spot on, how to fit your favorite foods, and then how to make this process as easy as possible with some tips and tricks. First things first, let's break down what are macros. So macros is short for macronutrients, which essentially means big nutrients. So there are three big nutrients in our diet. We have protein, we have carbs, and we have fat. Every single food item that we eat is going to be made up of some sort of combination of those three macros. So either if you're working with a coach or if you're prescribing your own macros, you're going to be having a daily calorie goal, and then you're going to be having a goal for those protein, carbs, and fats. Now, the amount of protein, carbs, and fats you are setting should align with your daily calorie goal. So this is where you have to do a little bit of math, but if you have a coach, your coach can do this for you. But for every gram of protein, it's going to be 4 calories. For every gram of carb, it's going to be 4 calories. And then for every gram of fat, it's going to be 9 calories. So right now, I'm in kind of like a cleanup phase, so I am in a slight calorie deficit, and my calories are set to 1,518. I have a macro breakdown of 135 grams of protein, 150 grams of carb, and then 42 grams of fat. So if you want to double check it, if you do all the math, that's going to equal your 1,518 calories. Now, the app I am going to be using today is called Macros First. So over the years, I have used a lot of different macro tracking apps, and I think by far this is the best app. I really like Macros First because it's easy to use, the barcode scanner is free, and the logs are accurate because there's not a whole bunch of junk on it. So I am going to be popping up a video right here of what's showing on my phone screen, so that way you guys can see exactly how I'm typing in the macros and how I'm doing all of this. Before we dive into logging foods into the app, I want to talk about how to create balanced meals, because that is going to be the outline and the structure of how we are going to pick and choose foods to fit within our macros. So we want to have 3 balanced meals a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner. You guys know the drill. But what creates a balanced meal is going to be a portion of protein, a portion of carbs, and then either a fruit or a vegetable. The first tip I'm going to give you guys is track your non-negotiable foods first. So if there is something that you 100% want to fit in your macros, meaning you want to eat that food item that day, put it in first and then add all of your other foods around it. So for me, I love to have my coffee. And I just make a latte at home with an espresso. If you watch any of my videos, I have talked so much about my Nespresso. And so I just do a double shot of espresso, which is 0 calories, so there's no need to put it in the app. But I do add almond milk with it. So I am gonna start by putting that in the app. Now you can see right here, this is my main screen. I have my 3 meals, my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I have my snack category. I am just gonna put this into my snack category. So I'm gonna click that plus sign right by snack. And then in the barcode, I am just gonna type in almond milk unsweetened. What's really nice with this app is if you look something up often, it pops up in your recents. And as you can see, I use almond milk a lot, so it pops up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click on that. And you can see the food name up top, and then you see a section where it says servings and then serving size. Now this is going to be very important because we want to make sure that we are actually measuring out our foods and having appropriate serving sizes, because that is going to allow us to hit our macros spot on. So you can click on serving size and it will come up with a couple different options. So I can measure it in ounces, I can measure it in grams, or I can measure it in grams. There's 2 grams, that one might actually be like a pound thing. Seems kind of odd, but for today's purpose, to keep it easy, we're just gonna measure it in ounces. So a normal serving of almond milk is 8 ounces. I honestly don't use a full 8 ounces in my coffee. I use around 6. So I'm gonna click 6, and then down below you can see it updates the summary of the nutrients. So for 6 ounces, it is 24 calories, and it's a breakdown of 0.6 protein, 0.6 carb, and then 1.8 fat. So I'm gonna go ahead and push add down in the right-hand corner, and then that basically puts it in my list. So I can continue to put food items on my list and then press log at the end, or if I just wanna go ahead and save it in my log right away, I can just push that blue button that says log, which that's all I'm gonna put for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and click log. A faster way to track items that do have a barcode is to use the barcode scanner, and it will automatically pull up the log for you. And you can see it pops up right on snacks. Now, non-negotiable food that I want is going to be salmon for dinner, just because we already have that cooked. It's leftovers, and I want to make sure that I eat it. So for dinner, I'm going to push that plus sign right beside it, and I am going to look up salmon. Now, an important part for here is to make sure that you are also tracking how you're cooking the salmon. So I cook, honestly, probably 90% of my proteins in the air fryer, just because it's easy that way. You put it in, you can walk away, do whatever, and then you can come back to it. So I'm going to select the log that says cooked dry heat. Again, this is already popping up in my recents because I have it very often. If it's not popping up in your recents, I could have just typed in salmon Atlantic, because I know that's the type of salmon I have, and then I could just scroll through until I find a log that matches the way that I'm cooking it. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. Again, you can see servings and serving size. My proteins, I always measure it in ounces, and I'm gonna have about 5 ounces, which is a good serving of protein. Down below, you can see the macro breakdown is 292 calories, which is 31 protein, 0 carb, and then 17.5 grams of fat. I'm gonna go ahead and push add. So that's putting it on my queue list right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish out this meal. So like I said before, you need your portion of protein, which I got it with that salmon, but I need a carb. Now, a carb that matches really well with rice, or I just said it. A carb that matches really well with salmon is rice. And I always have jasmine rice. So I'm gonna type in jasmine rice. Again, you can see that it pops up. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. Serving size for this is in grams. Again, I could weigh it by ounces, milliliters, millimeters, whatever I want. But for really everything that's not meat, I always measure it out in grams. Let's just put 100 grams for now. I can always go back and adjust it, but I'm gonna go ahead and push add, and then I'm gonna add a vegetable. I have been on a green bean kick, so I am going to add 100 grams of green beans to my dinner meal. So as you can see in the left-hand corner, it says 3 foods, and you can click that little down arrow and it shows you what you have in your queue. I have the salmon, I have the rice, and I have the green beans. It also gives you a breakdown. That looks good for now, so I'm gonna go ahead and push log foods. And then you can see that it pops up on my dinner meal. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and continue creating my other meals. Let's make breakfast. I am gonna want some protein, so I'm gonna do egg whites. I know I don't have a whole bunch of dietary fat, so I'm gonna do egg whites just because it is a leaner option and I don't wanna overshoot my fat, especially because I had salmon for dinner. So, type in egg whites, click on the log. For now, I'm just gonna put 5 ounces. I can always go back and adjust it. So I'm gonna push add, and then I'm gonna also do some chicken sausage actually. Oops. Because I want a little bit extra protein. I love using the Never Any brand from Aldi's, and you can see serving size just says 1 link, and the macros look correct for what's on the nutrition label. Which that is another thing. When you are macro tracking for the first time, make sure the logs that you are using matches with the nutrition label that you see in person. So I do need a carb, so let's do protein pancakes. I have been craving those. Okay, and then I use Kodiak because that's just like a common brand. So protein pancakes, buttermilk flavor, brand name Kodiak. I'm wanting to make sure that everything lines up, and I'm gonna measure this by serving size. I'm gonna have about 55 grams. Now, when you are tracking for the first time, you might not know what portion size you should be having. Now, if you don't know how much you want, look at the nutrition label and see what a regular serving size is. And you can start by tracking a regular serving size, and then you can always go back and adjust it from there. Let's see how I'm doing. So I got my protein, I got my carb and my pancakes. I need either a fruit or vegetable. For breakfast, I typically like to have fruits. So let's have some strawberries. Okay. Strawberries. Again, a typical serving size is around 175 grams. I'm gonna go ahead and add that. Okay, and you can see I have 4 foods in my queue. I already know that's what I want, so I'm gonna go ahead and push log. Okay, so I got my breakfast, I got my dinner, I got like partial of my snacks. Let's add a lunch. Looking at my macros, I am only at 849 calories. So I got a lot of protein, a decent amount of carb, and then just a little bit, a decent amount of fat left over as well. So I'm doing good. So for lunch, let's do a Mexican bowl. I have been obsessed with this Mexican bowl recipe. It's actually in my cookbook. By the time this video comes out, my cookbook should be launched. It's launching July 8th, 2024. So if it is past that date and you want to grab it, I will leave a link below. It's going to be available on Amazon, so it'll be super easy to grab it. A lot of super easy recipes. As you can see, like when I'm tracking these macros, I want to make my meals as simple as possible. Which that's another tip. The more simple you keep your macros, the easier it's going to be for you. So anyway, going back to the recipe, we are going to start by having chicken breast. You can see here I want boneless, I want skinless, and I am technically going to air fry it, but that's equivalent to grilling it. So I'm gonna click on that, and I'm gonna change the portion sizes to 5 ounces. add that. And then in the recipe, I have jasmine rice as well. So I am going to be adding or eating jasmine rice twice, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Let's put in 100 grams. And then for the sour cream, I'm going to use plain Greek yogurt. And then I have the non-fat Chobani in my fridge. Okay. So you can see here, if you look at the calories, it says 6,000. So you know I need to adjust this because I'm not going to be eating 6,000 calories of Greek yogurt. So if you look up top, it says that it's in the serving size, 277 grams, and I have the serving size as 50. So it's not that I'm having 50 grams, it's that I'm having 50 servings of the serving size 277. So I'm going to click on the serving size and I'm going to scroll down to just grams. And now you can see that I am in a gram serving size. I'm going to have 50 grams. That's 26 calories. So it is a lot more accurate. I'm going to go ahead and push add. And then I'm going to have some fresh cilantro. It's only 1 calorie, so I technically don't need to track it, but I'm going to throw it in anyway. Same thing, I'm going to have some chopped onions. I'm only going to have probably like 1 tablespoon. Again, 4 calories, probably didn't need to put it in there. And then I'm going to top it with salsa. So salsa can vary a little bit, so just make sure, again, you're checking with the nutrition label. For 4 tablespoons, 19 calories sounds right for what I have. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and push log. So looking back on it, you can see I have that full recipe for that Mexican lunch bowl. Looking back on top, I need a little bit more protein, a little bit more carb, and then I need some more fat. So I already technically have all of my meals made. So now that I have leftover calories and macros, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding in snacks. I'm gonna make like an overnight oat recipe. So I'm gonna take oatmeal, just plain oatmeal. And I'm gonna only put it to 35 grams because I can see down below that's gonna make it to 24 carb and I only have 30 left over and I wanna have a little bit of leeway. So I'm gonna add that. And then since I have a lot of fat, I'm gonna add regular peanut butter. So I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon, which is equivalent to 16 grams. I'm gonna add that and then some chocolate chips. Oops. Okay. Chocolate chips, Baker's Corner. I'm gonna have 1 serving, which is 14 grams, and you can see with the serving size, 1 tablespoon is 14 grams. I'm gonna log that and see where I'm sitting. So I am at 131 protein, 156 carbs. I'm actually over in carbs. And then I have 44 grams of fat. So I'm actually over in fat as well. So that's an easy fix. If I'm over in fat, I'm just gonna take down the peanut butter serving, which I'm gonna show you a really cool feature on this app, and this is one reason why I really like the Macros First app, is if I look up top, I know I am 2 grams over in fat. So instead of having to just like guess how much peanut butter I need to fit that macro, I can actually click on where it says fat for peanut butter. So in my log where it says F8, I'm gonna click on that and I'm gonna type in the amount that I want out of that food. So instead of 8 grams of fat, I am only gonna want 6 grams of fat. And then once I push done, it's going to automatically change the serving size for me. So I know if I really wanted that 6 grams of fat out of that item, I would need 11.76 grams. Isn't that cool? Anytime that you can do less math is better. So that's a really awesome feature. Okay, so I'm still a little under in protein and I'm a little over in carb. So when this scenario happens, I am going to find a item in my log and adjust the portion size. So let's do the protein first because that's easy. I know that egg whites is pretty much just straight protein. So I am going to, so I could technically do the same thing where I click on it and type in I want 20 grams of protein out of this. Okay, and it's 6.47 ounces, which isn't crazy. 6 ounces of egg whites is a little bit of a bigger portion size, but it is still very reasonable, so I'm gonna keep that. So then all I really need to do is just fix the carb. So I could easily just go to 1 portion of rice and adjust it down. To make it a little less obvious in my meals, I'm actually gonna split up and decrease both of my serving size of rice. I am getting 29 grams of carbs out of it. I need 5 less. So I really need to be getting like 24 grams of carbs out of it. So I'm gonna type in 24, and that brings it down to 82. So that is taking away like 18-ish grams of rice. So I can easily just leave it as one meal I'm having 82 grams, the other meal I'm having 100 grams. Or I can split it up. So I know they took away about like 12 grams of rice. So I'm going to take half of that, which is 6, and I'm going to take 6 away from that original 100, which is 94 grams. And I'm gonna do that to both servings. Okay, still just a little over, so I'm just gonna change it to, 92, and that should fix it. Boom, perfect. So just like that, I hit my 135 grams of protein, my 150 grams of carb, and then my 42 grams of fat. I have 3 balanced meals, I have my snacks, I have my non-negotiable foods of my almond milk for my coffee, and for my pre-workout snack, which is the oatmeal peanut butter and dark chocolate chips. So, like I said before, I have a big variety of food. I'm fitting in fun recipes, and I'm fitting in foods that I really enjoy, and so it doesn't really feel like I'm dieting. But that is going to be how you macro track, how you hit your goals, and how you pick out balanced foods. If you are a client of mine, a resource I do give you is a food list. So when you are trying to find foods to make balanced meals, it just gives you some more support and guidance where you can just pick and choose off of the list. And before I go, I want to give you 2 last quick tips. This first one I cannot emphasize enough, and that is track your damn food ahead of time. If you are just randomly eating food throughout the day and putting it in your app, at the end of the day, you're gonna be left over with really weird macros, and it's going to be incredibly hard to find food to fit those ranges 100%. That is why I sit down every single morning, or if your mornings are busy, do it the night before, or heck, even do it on the weekend and just repeat those meals throughout the week. Like they always say, if you do not plan ahead, you are planning to fail. And then second thing is try to just log as simple ingredients as possible. You typically want very natural, wholesome food sources anyway, just because it is going to be healthier for you. So I always try to gravitate towards what ingredient foods. Meaning if you look at the back of the nutrition label, it's either a very simple nutrition label or it's just one ingredient, such as sweet potatoes, chicken breast, something like that. But that is going to be everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to join my free Facebook group. I'll leave it in the link below. It has a lot of free information about nutrition, training, the bikini bodybuilding division. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you see more videos like this. But I will chat with you guys later. Bye.
Listen to me as I slow